First contact fallout. The Proxima station hung in space, like a gleaming metal spider, its 8 massive arms extending outward from a central hub that pulsed with blue-white energy. Captain Riley Markson watched it grow larger through the viewport of the transport shuttle, his weathered face reflecting none of the anxiety churning in his gut. This was humanity's first chance to prove themselves to the Galactic Federation's military command, and he wasn't about to let Earth down. Magnificent, isn't it? Lieutenant Danny Lopes said, pressing her face closer to the viewport. Her expertise in xenobiology had earned her a spot on this historic mission. I studied the schematics, but seeing it in person. It's just another base, muttered Sergeant Rex Wilson, the team's weapons specialist. His massive frame barely fit in the shuttle's seats. Bigger, shinier, but still just a collection of corridors and rooms where we'll be unwelcome. Riley couldn't disagree. When Earth had finally been contacted 3 years ago, the aliens had been friendly but cautious. Humans came from what the Federation classified as a Class 9 death world, a planet so naturally hostile that its dominant species had evolved to be, in their words, disturbingly resilient and alarmingly aggressive. The fact that humans had developed advanced technology while still fighting among themselves had only increased the Federation's wariness. Yet here they were, 5 humans chosen to represent Earth in the Federation's first military exchange program. A gesture of goodwill, the politicians called it. A reconnaissance mission, the generals had whispered. 2 minutes to docking, announced Dr. Maya Chen from her seat behind the pilot. As their technology specialist, she'd spent months studying Federation systems. Remember the briefing. Gravity will be lighter than we're used to. The air will have less oxygen, so take it easy until the supplemental brothers arrive. Completing their team was Communications Officer Eli Jackson, whose gift for languages had allowed him to master 6 alien tongues in record time. I've been monitoring their chatter, he said quietly. We're being described as the primitive specimens and Deathworld savages. Charming. Riley nodded. We expected this. Remember, we're not here to make friends. We're here to learn, to observe, and to demonstrate that humans deserve a place at the table. The shuttle docked with a gentle thump, and pressure equalized with a hiss. As the doors slid open, Riley straightened his uniform and led his team forward into the alien station. First impressions. The reception committee consisted of 3 different species. In the center stood High Commander Zextral, a tall, willowy being with iridescent scales and 4 arms. Beside him was Security Chief Blen, a stocky creature covered in what looked like blue fur, with a face dominated by 3 dark eyes arranged in a triangle. The third was Science Director Miri, whose translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Captain Markson, High Commander Zextral said through a translator device, "Welcome to Proxima Station. We trust your journey was comfortable." There was no warmth in the greeting. "Very comfortable. Thank you, High Commander," Riley responded with a respectful nod. "My team and I are honored to be the first humans to participate in this exchange." Zextral's upper arms twitched in what Riley had learned was a gesture of mild distaste. "Indeed, you will be shown to your quarters. After a rest period, you will join the other new recruits for orientation and classification testing." As they were escorted through the station, they attracted stares from every alien they passed. Some looked curious, others openly fearful. No one approached them. "They're scanning us," Maya whispered, her hand discreetly holding a sensor device. "Electromagnetic suites. They're checking if we're carrying weapons." "Standard procedure," Riley murmured back. "Remember, we're the unknown variable here." Their quarters turned out to be a single large room with 5 sleeping platforms arranged around the perimeter. The gravity was indeed lighter, making each step feel like they might bounce into the ceiling. "We've been quarantined," Rex observed immediately. Standard quarters on this station are individual pods arranged in community clusters. "They've isolated us." "Can you blame them?" Eli said, sitting on one of the platforms. "We're the scary Deathworlders. They're probably worried we'll eat our roommates." Riley moved to the center of the room. This changes nothing. We stick to the plan. We cooperate. We excel. We prove our worth. Now get some rest. Tomorrow, we show them what humans can do. The classification tests. The classification tests were clearly designed for species with very different physiologies and capabilities than humans. Riley and his team found themselves in a massive training arena alongside 30 other recruits from various Federation worlds. The alien recruits were an astonishing variety of forms. Some floated rather than walked, others moved with dozens of limbs, and a few seemed to phase in and out of solid form. "Welcome, new assets," announced Training Director Pelfor, a being whose metallic exoskeleton gleamed under the lights. "Today you will be evaluated on your physical capabilities, tactical thinking, and species-specific attributes. These assessments will determine your assignments within the Federation Defense Force." The first test involved lifting and manipulating objects of various sizes. Most Federation species evolved on low-gravity worlds, so when Rex effortlessly hoisted a metal container that 3 other recruits couldn't budge together, the room fell silent. "Impossible," muttered one translator nearby. "Muscle density exceeds safety parameters." The reaction was similar when Danny completed an endurance circuit without breaking a sweat, when Maya solved a complex system integration puzzle in half the allocated time, and when Eli correctly identified emotional states across 6 different species. But it was the combat simulation that truly shocked their observers. The humans were placed in a virtual scenario against simulated hostile forces. While other recruits took cover and followed standard Federation tactics, the humans adapted immediately. Riley coordinated his team with hand signals. They used the terrain to their advantage, and they never stopped moving. They completed the scenario in record time. When they emerged from the simulation, the Federation officers were waiting with expressions their translators interpreted as grave concern. "Your species exhibits disturbing combat proficiency," Security Chief Blend stated. "You fight as though you expect death at any moment." On Earth, Riley explained carefully, "We prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. It's how we've survived." "Troubling," was the only response. The Naxos situation. 3 weeks into their assignment, the humans had settled into an uneasy routine. They were given tasks, which they completed efficiently, but were clearly being kept away from sensitive areas and information. The Federation officers maintained a professional but distant relationship with them. That changed the day the alert sirens blared throughout the station. Riley and his team were called to the command center, a first. When they arrived, they found the senior staff gathered around a holographic display showing a distant outpost surrounded by unknown vessels. "The Naxos Research Station," High Commander Zextroll explained tersely. "It's under blockade by Vorkath raiders. 62 scientists and support staff are trapped there with limited supplies. The raiders are demanding our new gravitational manipulation technology in exchange for the hostages." Riley studied the hologram. "These Vorkath, what are their capabilities?" Science Director Miri's body pulsed with agitated lights. "They are scavengers, technologically inferior, but numerous and unpredictable. They possess stolen weapons they barely understand. What makes them dangerous is their disregard for life, including their own." "Why call us here?" Maya asked directly. Zextroll's 4 hands made a complicated gesture. "The Federation Council has ordered a diplomatic approach. We are to negotiate while preparing a conventional response if talks fail. However, the conventional response would arrive too late to save the hostages." Riley understood immediately. "You want our input, but don't want to officially ask for it. Your species has extensive experience with unconventional conflict resolution," the High Commander said carefully. The humans exchanged glances. This was their opening. "We'd need full access to your tactical systems and complete information about the station layout," Riley said. "And permission to modify equipment to our specifications," added Rex. The security chief bristled visibly. "Out of the question. Federation military protocols clearly state." "Blinn," Zextrol interrupted. The Council has authorized temporary protocol exceptions in this matter. He turned to Riley. You will have what you need, Captain Markson. But understand that this is not official Federation doctrine. Should your approach fail, Earth's standing will be reconsidered. Riley nodded grimly. Understood, High Commander. We won't fail. As they left the command center to begin planning, Danny whispered, They're setting us up. If we succeed, they take the credit. If we fail, Earth takes the blame. Then we don't fail, Riley replied. This is exactly what we came for, a chance to show what humans can do when the stakes are real. Maya smiled thinly. They think they know what Deathworlders are capable of. They have no idea. The human approach. The command staff was visibly uncomfortable with the humans' plan. This approach contradicts all Federation tactical doctrine, protested Security Chief Blen as Riley outlined their strategy on the holographic display. You propose to send a small team in a single shuttle directly into the blockade. It's suicide. Not if they don't see us coming, Riley explained. Your stealth technology combined with the modifications Dr. Chen has proposed will make us nearly invisible to their sensors. And once you arrive, 5 of you against potentially hundreds of raiders. Science Director Miri's luminescence had dimmed with concern. Rex stepped forward. The Vorketh expect a frontal assault or a negotiator. They won't be prepared for a small infiltration team. We don't need to defeat them all. Just create enough chaos to evacuate the hostages. This is how humans fight, Eli added quietly. We adapt, we improvise, and we focus on the objective rather than following rigid doctrine. High Commander Zextrol studied the humans with an unreadable expression. Your plan is unorthodox, but our conventional options leave the hostages at unacceptable risk. You have provisional authorization to proceed, Captain Markson. As the meeting dispersed, Danny noticed Science Director Miri lingering behind. Your species troubles me, Lieutenant Lopez, the translucent alien said. You come from a world that should have killed you, yet you thrived. You developed weapons before you developed interstellar travel. You think constantly of conflict and survival. Danny nodded. That's true. But those same traits make us uniquely qualified for situations like this. We don't just survive on our death world. We learn from it. Miri's body pulsed with complex patterns. The Federation fears what you might become. But perhaps we need what you already are. Before Danny could respond, alarms blared again. On the main display, one of the Vorketh ships had opened fire on the research station. Time had run out. The humans' plan would now be put to the test, ready or not. Operation Unexpected. The modified shuttle slipped away from Proxima Station with minimal fanfare. From the outside, it appeared to be a standard Federation supply vessel, the kind the Vorketh raiders had been allowing through their blockade to keep the hostages alive. Inside, however, the vessel had been transformed according to human specifications. Stealth systems operational, Maya reported from her makeshift control panel. She had reconfigured the shuttle's emissions to create what she called a sensor blind spot. Not true invisibility, but a gap in detection that the raiders' stolen technology would struggle to identify. Riley nodded, strapping himself into the pilot's seat. The Federation pilots had refused to participate in what they considered a suicide mission, so Riley had taken control. His experience flying experimental aircraft on Earth made him the most qualified. Weapons check, he ordered. Rex ran his hands over the array of modified Federation stun weapons. Ready. Still think these pop guns are too weak, but I boosted their output as much as possible without frying the circuits. Communications ready, Eli confirmed. I've analyzed all available Vorketh transmissions. Their language is crude but consistent. I can mimic enough to cause confusion if needed. Danny completed her check of the medical supplies. On her insistence, they had brought emergency treatments for all known Federation species. Medical kit ready. Let's hope we don't need it. Remember the plan, Riley said as they accelerated toward the blockade. We're not heroes, and we're not martyrs. We get in, we extract the hostages, we get out. The Federation's conventional forces will handle the raiders afterward. The shuttle banked toward a debris field near the outer edge of the blockade. According to Maya's calculations, this approach would keep them in sensor shadows most of the way. Vorkath communication chatter increasing, Eli reported, listening through an earpiece. They're arguing about something. Territory disputes within their own fleet. Internal power struggles. Riley's eyes narrowed. That's useful. Can we exploit it? Eli nodded slowly, a grin spreading across his face. Oh yes, very much so. Into the lion's den. The Naxos research station was a sleek, circular structure hovering in orbit around a small moon. 7 Vorkath vessels surrounded it in a loose formation, each ship a cobbled-together mass of scavenged parts that somehow functioned as a cohesive whole. Approaching outer blockade perimeter, Riley announced, "Passive scans only from here on." The shuttle drifted silently between 2 Vorkath ships, its modified systems creating just enough sensor distortion to appear as background radiation. When they were within a kilometer of the station, Maya activated a targeted communication burst. "Sending access codes now," she whispered, as though the raiders might hear them through the vacuum of space. "If the station's systems are intact, this should, yes." Docking Bay 4 has acknowledged and is cycling open. The small opening appeared on the far side of the station, away from the main Vorkath vessels. Riley guided the shuttle with precision, slipping into the narrow bay just as one of the raider ships began to turn in their direction. "They've spotted something," Eli warned, monitoring the Vorkath communications. "Not sure if it's us specifically, but they're sending a scout to investigate." The shuttle touched down with a gentle bump, and the bay doors closed behind them. Immediately, the 5 humans were on their feet, gathering equipment and moving with practiced efficiency. "Atmosphere is breathable but thin," Danny reported, checking her scanner. No immediate signs of Vorkath presence inside, but biosigns indicate multiple Federation species clustered in the central hub. "The hostages," Riley confirmed. "Let's move." They exited the shuttle to find the docking bay deserted except for a single trembling figure hiding behind a stack of containers. The being, a Melnaxian with scaled skin and large, compound eyes, flinched as they approached. "Please," it pleaded through a translator. "No more tests. We've told you everything about the gravitational technology." "We're not Vorkath," Riley said gently, raising empty hands. "I'm Captain Markson from Earth. We're here with the Federation to get you all out." The Melnaxian's eyes widened impossibly further. "Earth. The Death World. They sent you." "They did," Danny confirmed, stepping forward with a medical scanner. "Are you injured? What's your name?" "Trell Ban, Assistant Research Coordinator." "Not injured, just. They've been taking us one by one for questioning." The alien scientist looked at the 5 humans with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. "But there are only 5 of you, and dozens of raiders on board." Rex hefted his modified weapon. "That just makes it a fair fight. How many hostages, and where are the raiders keeping them?" 62 of us altogether. They've confined most to the central laboratory complex," Trell Ban explained, gaining composure. "They have guards posted at all main junctions. Their leader, a brute called Crag Vorn, has set up in the director's office." "And what about their ships?" Maya asked. "Are they maintaining communication with the raiders on board?" "Constant updates required every 30 minutes. Trell Ban confirmed. "The next check is in 12 minutes. Riley nodded. "Then we have 12 minutes to implement the first phase." "Eli, you're up." Chaos theory. The central monitoring station was guarded by 3 Vorkath raiders. They were massive creatures with leathery gray skin and multiple redundant organs, an evolutionary response to their own harsh home planet. They carried scavenged weapons and wore mismatched armor, giving them a fearsome patchwork appearance. What they didn't know was that a human was directly above them, having navigated through the station's maintenance conduits with a nimbleness the bulky Vorkath couldn't match. Eli waited until all 3 guards were in position below the vent grate, then dropped a small device Maya had constructed from station components. The device hit the floor with a metallic clank, immediately releasing a high-frequency pulse that overloaded the raiders' communicators. As the guards reacted in confusion, Eli dropped down behind them. On Earth, he would have been no physical match for even one Vorkath. But in the station's lighter gravity, combined with his combat training, he moved like water between them. The guards fell unconscious from precisely placed nerve strikes before they could raise an alarm. Eli immediately took his position at the communication console and activated his translator. Central to all units, he transmitted in a perfect imitation of Vorkath speech patterns. Intruder alert in lower engineering section. All available warriors respond immediately. The response was immediate. Throughout the station, the heavy footsteps of Vorkath raiders echoed as they rushed toward engineering, away from both the hostages and the human's position. Phase 1 complete, Eli reported through his secure comlink. You have approximately 7 minutes before they realize it's a false alarm. The hostage extraction. While the Vorkath were distracted, Riley, Donnie, and Trellban made their way to the central laboratory. They encountered only 2 guards, whom Riley neutralized with quiet efficiency. The laboratory doors slid open to reveal a scene of controlled fear. Dozens of Federation scientists from various species huddled together, some showing signs of rough treatment. They looked up in alarm as the doors opened, then in confusion at the sight of unfamiliar bipeds accompanied by Trellban. "I am Captain Riley Markson of Earth," Riley announced, keeping his voice calm but authoritative. "We're here to extract you to safety. We have limited time, so I need your complete cooperation." A tall, crystalline being stepped forward. "I am Director Jensa. We are grateful, but extraction seems impossible. There are too many raiders." "Not for long," Riley assured him. "My colleague has redirected most of them to engineering. Another team member is about to create an additional distraction on the raider vessels themselves." As if on cue, his comm unit activated with Maya's voice. "Phase 2 initiated, Captain. You've got fireworks in 30 seconds. Outside the station, aboard their shuttle, Maya and Rex had reprogrammed the station's external communication array to broadcast a very specific message to the Vorkath fleet, a falsified transmission that appeared to come from Crag Vorn himself, claiming he had discovered the gravitational technology and was planning to abandon his fellow raiders and escape with it alone. The effect was instantaneous. The Vorkath ships, already engaged in internal power struggles, erupted into chaos. 2 vessels immediately opened fire on what they believed was Crag Vorn's ship, which retaliated in kind. "The blockade is collapsing," Maya reported with satisfaction. "Their command structure is completely fractured." Inside the station, Riley organized the hostages into groups. "We need to move quickly and quietly. The shuttle can only take 15 at a time, so we'll need multiple trips." Director Jensa's crystalline form shimmered with concern. "The Vorkath will detect multiple launches. They're rather busy at the moment," Riley said with a grim smile. "And about to get busier." The turning point. The first group of hostages was safely aboard the shuttle when Crag Vorn finally realized what was happening. The Vorkath leader, enraged by the disintegration of his blockade and the unexplained movements of his warriors, ordered a station-wide lockdown. "We've got a problem," Eli reported from his position at the monitoring station. "Crag Vorn is no fool. He's figured out something's wrong and is calling all warriors back to the central areas. They'll be here in minutes." "Time for Phase 3, Riley decided. "Danny, get the second group to docking Bay 2. There's a research vessel there that Trellban can pilot. Maya, bring the shuttle to Bay 2 as well. Rex, you're with me." "What's Phase 3? Director Jensa asked anxiously. Riley checked his modified weapon. "We introduced the Vorkath to Earth's oldest military tradition, the rear guard action. While Danny led the second group of hostages toward safety, Riley and Rex positioned themselves at a critical junction that all returning Vorkath would need to pass through. They quickly reconfigured the corridor's environmental systems and structural supports according to a plan they had developed during the journey. Just like that canyon ambush simulation back home, Rex remarked as they worked. Except this time, if we fail, we actually die, Riley reminded him. Rex grinned. Details, details. When the first wave of Vorkath warriors rounded the corner, they charged directly into a trap. Riley and Rex had created a killing zone where the artificial gravity fluctuated wildly, disorienting the raiders and making their superior strength work against them. The reinforced position allowed the two humans to hold off forces that outnumbered them 10-1. Meanwhile, in Docking Bay 2, Maya had arrived with the shuttle. The second group of hostages was boarding Trellban's research vessel, while Danny supervised the loading of the third group onto the shuttle. Captain, status report. Danny called through the comm. Riley's breathing was heavy. We're holding, but not for much longer. Get those ships launched now. The research vessel is away, Maya confirmed. Shuttle loaded with the third group. That's 45 hostages safe. We're coming back for you and the final group. Negative, Riley ordered. Get the current group to safety. We'll handle the rest. Before Maya could protest, a massive explosion rocked the station. On the main Vorkath vessel, their leader had finally realized the extent of the deception. Rather than admit defeat, Crag Vorn had ordered his loyal ships to fire on the station itself. Structural integrity failing in sections 3-7, Eli reported tensely. We need to move now. The Federation arrives. High Commander Zextrol stood on the bridge of the Federation flagship as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Naxos system. The sight that greeted them was unprecedented. Vorkath ships firing on each other, two vessels already drifting dead in space, and the research station showing signs of significant damage. What in the name of the 7 moons is happening? Security Chief Blend demanded. Incoming transmission. The communications officer announced. It's the human shuttle. Maya's face appeared on the main screen. Federation flagship. This is Dr. Chen. We have extracted 45 hostages safely, Captain Markson, and the others are still aboard with the remaining hostages. The station is taking heavy fire and losing structural integrity. Request immediate assistance. Zextrol didn't hesitate. All vessels, engage the Vorkath ships. Priority is protecting the station until evacuation is complete. As the Federation force moved into battle formation, Science Director Miri approached the commander. The humans did this, she said quietly. 5 individuals against an entire raider fleet. How is this possible? I don't know, Zextrol admitted, but I intend to find out after we save them. Inside the failing station, Riley, Rex, and Eli had gathered the remaining 17 hostages in a small maintenance bay. The main docking areas were either destroyed or cut off by collapsed corridors. Options, Riley asked, coughing as smoke filled the compartment. Eli pointed to a maintenance airlock. Emergency evacuation pods, 2 people per pod, maximum. Not enough for everyone, Rex calculated grimly. Federation ships have arrived, Danny reported through the crackling comm system. They're engaging the Vorkath, but it'll take time to reach your position. Riley made a quick decision. Load the hostages into the pods. Launch them toward the Federation fleet. And us? Rex asked, though he already knew the answer. We find another way out, Riley said with more confidence than he felt. There's always another way. As they worked to load the frightened scientists into the tiny escape pods, a new transmission came through their comms. It was High Commander Zextrol himself. Captain Markson, I have monitored your situation. What you have accomplished is remarkable, but our sensors show the station will not hold much longer. You must evacuate immediately. Working on it, Commander, Riley replied, sealing another pod. Just need a few more minutes. You misunderstand, Zextrol said, his tone uncharacteristically respectful. I am not suggesting. I am offering assistance. Look to your starboard side. Through a viewport, they saw a Federation assault shuttle performing an impossible maneuver, deliberately crashing through the weakened hull to create a direct docking with their compartment. The shuttle's door opened to reveal High Commander Zextrol himself, along with a team of Federation commandos. Captain Markson, he said, extending all four arms in a gesture of deep respect. Your extraction method was unorthodox. I thought perhaps you might appreciate the same in return. A new understanding. 2 days later, aboard Proxima Station, the 5 humans stood at attention before the assembled Federation command staff. The formal debriefing had lasted hours, with every detail of their operation examined and analyzed. High Commander Zextrol's 4 arms were clasped behind his back as he paced before them. The rescue of the Naxos personnel was complete. 62 scientists and staff, all recovered safely. The Vorkath fleet destroyed or scattered, and all accomplished by 5 individuals from a species that, until now, the Federation regarded with suspicion and fear. He stopped before Riley. Captain Markson, I must ask you directly. Why did you not inform us of your full capabilities when you arrived? Riley met his gaze steadily. With respect, Commander, you wouldn't have believed us. Some things must be demonstrated, not explained. Security Chief Blen stepped forward. Your methods violated 17 different Federation tactical protocols and saved 62 lives, Science Director Miri countered, her body glowing with intense patterns. Perhaps it is our protocols that should be reconsidered, not their methods. Zextrol raised a hand for silence. The Federation Council has reviewed the operation extensively. They have authorized me to make an unprecedented announcement. He straightened to his full height. Earth is hereby granted accelerated membership consideration. Furthermore, a new joint training program will be established, with humans serving as instructors in adaptive tactics and unconventional warfare. Riley couldn't hide his surprise. Sir, the Vorkath were merely raiders, Zextrol explained. But there are worse threats lurking at the edges of Federation space. For too long, we have relied on overwhelming force and rigid doctrine. Your species has shown us another way. He extended his upper right arm in what the humans recognized as a gesture of warrior respect. We feared what humans might become if given access to Federation technology. We failed to appreciate what humans already are, and what they could teach us. Riley accepted the gesture, clasping the alien's arm in the traditional manner. Earth stands ready to serve alongside the Federation, Commander. Not alongside, Zextrol corrected. At the forefront. The Deathworlders have earned their place among the stars. As the formal ceremony concluded and the Federation officers filed out, Danny moved closer to Riley. So, mission accomplished. Riley watched as Eli was already deep in conversation with a group of alien communication specialists, while Maya and Rex were being approached by curious Federation engineers eager to learn about their modifications. More than accomplished, he said with satisfaction. The generals wanted reconnaissance. We just got humanity a seat at the table. Not bad for 5 primitive specimens. Beyond the viewport, a Federation ship was preparing to depart for Earth, carrying news of the human success and formal invitations for more Deathworlders to join the stars. The galaxy would never be the same again, and that was exactly as it should be.